And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Run Wild is a new game from out-of-the-box publishers in which it's a speed game and you're trying to get rid of all the cards in your hand as fast as you can. And what you're going to find is when you first play the game, you'll find that it has a lot of similarities to a very famous game called Dutch Blitz, in which players are trying to get rid of all the cards in their deck. But this game is different in that you can choose how many cards are in your hand. It's also very chaotic, although it can have moments of slowness in it. It's a very interesting game. Let's take a look closer at how the game works. This is a 2 to 4 player game, and the deck is split evenly between the different players. So let's say there's 4 players playing. Each player would have the deck split evenly before them. They would take their deck in front of themselves, and when we say they're going to draw 8 cards, 7, 8, and then the game begins. So you look at the cards from your hand, and once someone says go, everyone's going to be playing at the same time. Now what you're trying to do is you're trying to get rid of all the cards that are in your hand. And there are several legal ways to do that. You can play a run, which is, for example here, a 4, 5, and 6 of the same color. You can do something like that with a wild card. For example here, I can have a 6, 7, 8. You can see the wild card there. And you can play those cards out in front of people. Again, trying to get rid of all the cards in your hand. Other ways to get rid of cards are, if someone has a card with a wild in it, I can replace that wild with the card it's supposed to be. For example, there's the blue 8. Taking the wild into my hand so that I can use it for something else. You can also add cards to the end. For example, 6, 7, 8, I can put a 9 here. If you can also play a group of 3 cards that are the same in number, different colors is fine, and that also can be added to. If there are 3 cards in a set, you are allowed to, at least 3 cards in a set, you're allowed to take one of the cards as long as you leave 3 cards there. So I guess as long as there's 4. So for example here, let's say I needed this 6 because I wanted to make a set of 6s. I could take it off the end and then play it with some other cards to make a set of 6s. Maybe I have 2 wilds here. You got to be careful when you're throwing down different cards, especially wilds and such, because other people may be able to take them. If you run out of cards that you can play, you're always also allowed to draw more cards from your draw pile and put them in your hand, but you're not going to win until you get rid of all the cards in your hand. So drawing shouldn't be something that's done quickly. Although it's very possible that one of the players will play a draw 3 card. They simply play that, and everyone else is forced to add 3 cards to their hand. When one player runs out of cards, then the round is over, and everybody is going to get points for whatever cards in their hand. You don't want points. For each number card in your hand, you get 5 points. For each wild card in your hand, you get 10 points. And for draw 3 cards, you'll get 10 points. Everyone writes down the points. You start another round, and you keep going till 4 rounds have been played, and the player with the fewest points is the winner. Run Wild, of course, can be a crazy, wild, and chaotic game as you're playing cards as fast as you can. But it just has a different feel to it. See, in a game like Dutch Blitz or other speed games, you're simply just playing cards as fast as you can, playing cards as fast as you can, playing cards as fast as you can until one person's done. There might be some pauses as you wait, okay, play cards. This game sounds like it is, but instead you're sitting here thinking, okay, if I play these 3 cards there, okay, I'll do that, and then I can take that card from there and play these 3, and I only have 2 to get rid of. Should I sit here and wait till I can somehow play these 2 cards, or should I draw a couple extra cards? And I know which cards have been played and which haven't, and I think someone's about to play that. I saw him pick up a 6. If he plays 3 6s, I can play this for my hand. And so there's a lot of back and forth. And several games that I've been in, I've been sitting there with a card or 2 waiting to play the final card, and I see someone else throw it down, and I'm ready to throw my final cards in, and someone else was waiting for the same thing. Usually has very exciting ends to rounds. Now, if you hate speed games, this isn't going to change your mind. You're still going to hate this one. But if you like speed games, this is certainly different than all the other ones that I've played. In Dutch Blitz, everyone has the same cards. In this one, you're going to have different cards than everybody else. But there is only one of each card in the deck, so you're sitting there trying to figure out when exactly is the best time to play a card. Those draw 3s keep things interesting, and the wilds, and being able to pull cards back off the table is an interesting addition that you can use for strategic benefit to play the cards down in your own sets later on. I like Run Wild. I don't think it's super great. Other recent games that Out of the Box I've liked more. But this is still a good one, and one that people who like speed should certainly try out.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.